Hello and welcome. So this time is going to be different, a little different for two different reasons. So the first thing that'll be a little different is I'm just showing you two ways to make the same chaplet. So two ways to make a ladder rosary chaplet. Another way that it's different is that I recorded the entire video and then found out that the sound didn't work at all. So the sound is actually recorded separately from the video this time, so that will be a little different. But one big reason to make the ladder rosary chaplets, some of our rosary makers are very young, and it's a lot to make an entire rosary, and so the chaplet is a great option for our youngest rosary makers. It's also just handy for anyone, especially, it's portable, but if you aren't going to pray an entire rosary at the same time, you could pray a decade at a time. So here we go. We have two different ways. So this one that I'm showing right now has a medal at the end, but it also doesn't have a knot on the other end of it. This one here with the crucifix, you'll see there's a knot at the end of the chaplet. So you start with the Our Father, and then you can go through on your ladder praying along, and you can just hold the knot on the other end. So this is the easier method to make with the knot at the end. I think especially for younger makers, they can probably do the knot at the end more easily on their own. This version has the knot right by the crucifix or the medal instead of at the end, and so if you're going through and praying it as you go along, you'll probably just want to hold the bead that is at the end of the chaplet instead of having a knot there to hold. But it just looks nice not to have the knot hanging off at the end, so it's just another option for how to make it. It's just a little trickier to tie the knot when it is onto the crucifix or the medal after you've put the beads on. So that's why we're showing the two options. So you'll need a crucifix or medal and 10 Hail Mary beads, 2 feet of cord, and an Our Father bead, which could be a heart like I've used here, or it could just be another pony bead. So that's just what I'm showing here. The beads and the cord and medal and crucifix that you would need. So this is 2 feet of cord, which will give you excess at the end for when you're tying off. You're going to start off by folding it in half. And this is the one with the knot at the end. Then you're going to put both ends through the top of your crucifix or through your medal, and then you'll pull them through that big opening you see there. And so then it's nice and tight. You're ready to make your ladder, and the ends are even. So then you're going to start off with your Our Father bead. In this case, it's a heart. And you're just going to put both ends through. So you're just stringing it like a regular bead. Okay, so you see both ends come through the top, and then you're ready for your ladder. And when you're doing the ladder, it's a little different because you're putting one end through one side, and then you're putting the other end of the cord through the other side. So you'll have an end sticking out on either side of your pony bead, and then you'll tighten it down from there. So you can just see both ends are sticking out, and then you tighten those down. And you're going to do that for every Hail Mary bead to create your ladder. For those of you that have made the ladder rosary, this is you've already done this before. So you put an end through both sides, again, just to show how you do this, and then you tighten it down. And then we're going to switch over to a chaplet that's just further along, because you're going to do all those Hail Marys the same way. So this one just already has all the 10 Hail Marys on there. The ladder's all set, and all that's left to do is tie the knot at the end. So what you're going to do for that knot, you can just wrap it around your finger, and then pull the ends through and tighten it down. You're just making sure you have a little bit of extra space so that the beads can move. Not like a ton of extra space, but just a little bit. So then you'll tighten it down. It's just a very basic knot. And you can double it up. You can do a second knot on top of it. One knot will probably do it, but I like to do an extra knot just to be sure. So I'm doing a second knot just right on top of that first knot. And tightening that down. And then all you have to do is cut your ends off. And then it's optional if you'd like to seal it with nail polish or glue, just to hold it more securely. You can do that at that point. And then it's all set. So that's the what I think is the easiest way to do the ladder chaplet. And then we're going to go through the other method that has the knot on the other end. So you're still going to start with your 2 feet of cord, and you'll start with it folded in half with both ends together, so evenly folded in half. But this time you're going to start with your pony bead instead of your crucifix or your medal. So you'll just take one of your Hail Marys to start with, because you'll be creating the ladder first. So you take one of those Hail Mary beads, and just like before, you put one end in one hole and the other end in the hole on the other side of your pony bead, and you just tighten it down. And you want to keep your ends pretty even. So that's another thing that's a little trickier when you're starting to keep the ends even, so that you have room to make your full chaplet with the cord. And then it's the same thing. You create the ladder, so you know, one end in one end in the other end, and you tighten it down. So we're also going to just switch over to a chaplet that is further along, that already has the 10 Hail Marys. So which we have over here. Okay, so this one just has the Hail Marys on, and then your next one is the Our Father. So this might be the heart bead, or in this case, I'm just going to use a pony bead just to show that that's also an option. So in this one, you're not going to put it as a ladder, you're just going to put it as a regular bead. So you're going to put both ends through the same side for the Our Father, because then it just shows a distinction with that bead, that's the Our Father and not another Hail Mary. Okay, so you can see both ends coming through there. And you'll want to leave a little excess space the same way when you're tying off on this end. But you're going to go ahead and take your medal. In this case, we have Our Lady of Guadalupe medal. You're going to put both ends through, and then you, and this knot's a little bit trickier, so you're going to loop that around on your finger. And then you're going to take the end, so coming from like where the medal is, through the hole going up towards the ladder, you're going to pull those ends through. And then you'll tighten it down, just again leaving a little bit of excess space so that your beads can move, because that's so cool when you're praying the ladder and you're feeling the beads move. I really like that. And then same thing, you're just going to cut off the ends after you've made your knot. And then you could also seal that off if you'd like to do that. So now you have your chaplet completed. So there we go. That's the one without the knot at the end. And then our first one, of course, was the one with the knot at the end. There we go. That's the one we made today. So God bless you. Happy rosary making, especially to our youngest rosary makers. God bless you, and I really encourage you to pray the rosary.